For most people, a 7.2 magnitude earthquake is a news headline. For Marcus Delaney, it was the end of the world. His home in Tacoma, Washington was condemned, and his savings evaporated between bureaucracy and the fine print on an insurance policy that promised everything and delivered nothing.
With almost nothing left, Marcus found a remote plot of land in Haines, Alaska, and set out with only his truck, a tent, and a few tools. Then, in the ruins of an old dock, he found hundreds of abandoned pallets and saw what no one else could: the raw materials for a new life. Can our man build a functional cabin in under 60 days before the first hard frost of the season? And can he start a new life in his new home?
This is about to begin. This is the last shelter.
Marcus drives his old pickup truck down a dirt track to the edge of the ruined dock. He steps out and surveys the scene. Collapsed structures and debris everywhere. But among it all, stacks of pallets. Hundreds of them. The temperature sits around 50 degrees Fahrenheit, but the coastal wind makes it feel much colder. He can't stop marveling at how he found all of this. Is it a sign? A miracle? He starts clearing a path, moving twisted pieces of metal and rotted timbers. Heavy, dirty work. He finds a small, dilapidated watchman's hut, its door hanging off a single hinge. He peers inside. Almost empty. But he spots a few treasures: a rusted metal sheet, a length of old stovepipe, and the hinge from the door. He carefully removes them and sets them aside. He reaches the first stack of good pallets, the ones stamped with HT. He uses a crowbar from his truck to pry it free. He loads it onto the truck bed, then another, and another. The truck's suspension groans. Only a few fit before it's full. He drives the slow, bumpy route back to his plot. The truck struggles with the weight. He unloads the pallets, creating a small, neat stack. It looks insignificant against the vast landscape. He knows he will have to make this trip dozens of times. Each trip is a small victory against the immense task ahead. As dusk falls, Marcus finishes setting up his small, one-man tent. This is his home for now. He builds a small fire pit with rocks from the shore and gets a modest fire going. That night, inside the thin nylon tent, the wind howls. He can't sleep. He pulls out his phone. No signal. He looks at the last photo he has of his old house. A wave of doubt washes over him. What is he doing here? Is this redemption or just a slower way to die?
You should know that in survival, everything comes down to the basic triangle. Shelter, water, and fire. Marcus has all three, but in their most precarious forms. A nylon tent is just a psychological barrier against the Alaskan wind. A nearby stream is a water source, but also a source of hypothermia. And an open fire burns through fuel and provides little warmth. That cabin is not a weekend project. It is the only play he has to avoid becoming another winter statistic.
Over the following days, the routine is brutal. Drive, load, unload. The pile of pallets on his land grows day by day, from a small stack to a formidable mountain of wood. His movements become more efficient, more practiced. The temperature keeps dropping, now around 46 degrees Fahrenheit in the mornings. At the end of day 8, he stops and looks at the mountain of wood he has gathered. For the first time, a flicker of hope cuts through the doubt. He thinks to himself, I can do this. With a massive stockpile of pallets ready, the real work begins. He clears and levels a 12 by 16 foot area. He uses a shovel and his own strength, scraping the earth flat. The ground is hard and progress is slow. Then he starts hauling large, flat stones from the shoreline, one by one. Each stone is a struggle, a test of his resolve. He lays them out in precise rows, creating a grid of stone piers. This foundation will keep his wooden home off the damp, frozen ground, a crucial step in this cold, wet climate. He carefully selects the strongest, most uniform ones for this. Marcus lays the first layer of pallets flat across the stone piers. He uses a level to ensure the platform is perfectly flat. Shimming the stones where necessary. He bolts the pallets to each other, creating a single, solid platform. He makes a mistake. One of the pallets is not perfectly level. He has to undo the bolts. A whole morning wasted. Now the floor. He takes the pallets in worse condition and begins dismantling them, salvaging the wooden slats. A tedious process of pulling nails and prying boards. He then uses these salvaged slats to cover the gaps in the platform pallets. His hands are raw, but he persists, creating a solid, continuous wooden floor. For the first time, he can stand on a wooden floor of his own making. A small but significant milestone.
If you're going to build with pallets, you need to know about the codes some wood pallet them. They tell you how the wood's been treated, and some of those treatments are toxic. HT means heat treated, wood that's safe. But MB, that means methyl bromide, a highly toxic pesticide. Building a shelter with MB treated pallets is like sleeping in a slow motion gas chamber. So you have to be careful. Most people would make that fatal mistake. Marcus didn't. His experience in logistics is the key to his survival.
The work continues with the walls. Marcus stands the first pallet vertically on the edge of the platform. Braces it and secures it. Then he places another pallet 6 inches inside the first, creating the double wall system. He works his way around the entire perimeter, pallet by pallet. Slow, methodical work for one person. He drops a pallet. It cracks, unusable. He curses, frustrated. Another trip to the dock, another hour lost. He frames the openings. A space for a door on the leeward side, away from the prevailing wind. A larger opening for a main window facing south to catch as much of the precious winter sun as possible. And a smaller high window for the area that will become the bathroom, for ventilation and light. The sky darkens. The wind picks up. A storm rolls in off the coast, fast and violent. The temperature plummets to 35 degrees Fahrenheit. The unfinished structure is completely exposed. Marcus scrambles, using ropes and tarps to brace the walls, trying to protect his work. He retreats to his small tent as the storm hits its peak, a helpless observer. He lies in the dark, listening to the wood groaning and the tarps whipping violently. Every gust of wind sounds like the end. He can't sleep. He just listens, analyzing the sounds, trying to guess which part of his structure is failing. The next morning, he surveys the scene. The tarps are shredded, but the walls are still standing. No major structural damage, but the storm has revealed every weak point. Every joint that needs reinforcement. The wind found the flaws in his design, and now he knows what he has to fix.
I have seen nature destroy shelters far more solid than this one. But Marcus got lucky. That storm was not an attack. It was an audit. The wind gave him a free and brutal report on every design flaw. In my experience, the people who survive out here are not the ones who fight nature. They are the ones who learn from it. And Marcus just received his first big lesson.
Marcus reinforces the wall structure based on the storm's lesson. He adds diagonal bracing and strengthens the connections.
Then he starts with the ceiling.
Then he starts on the roof. He builds a central ridge beam from heavy driftwood and constructs rafters from dismantled pallet frames. The pitch is steep, designed to shed heavy snow. He covers the rafters with a layer of pallet slats. Then a salvaged tarp as a waterproof membrane. Finally, he begins the slow process of insulating the double walls, stuffing the cavities with dried moss and grass he has been collecting for weeks. It is a painstaking task, but he knows this is what will make the difference between a cold box and a warm home. He places the last section of the roof. He steps inside. The howling wind that has been his constant companion for weeks suddenly stops. The silence inside is absolute. He is inside. He is safe. The structure is finally sealed from the outside world. With the cabin sealed, Marcus takes his first real break since he started. The temperature outside is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, but inside the wind is gone. He walks to the shore with an improvised fishing line. The landscape is spectacular. Snow-capped mountains in the background, the gray and powerful sea stretching to the horizon. For the first time, he does not see a hostile place, but a place of overwhelming beauty. He thinks that, despite everything, maybe God has not abandoned him. That this plot of land nobody wanted could be his reward. He catches a salmon. Cleans it right there on the shore. And cooks it over a small fire between the rocks. The next day, the work moves inside. He uses more pallets to build a dividing wall that separates the main space from a kitchen area and a functional bathroom. In the kitchen area, he builds a counter from more pallet wood, sanding it down to a smooth finish. In the bathroom, he installs a frame for a composting toilet, ensuring proper ventilation to the outside. In the main area, he builds a raised sleeping platform, high enough to store gear underneath. This already feels like home.
You should know that a single pallet wall will not protect you from much in a winter like this.
But 2 walls with an air gap filled with dried moss and grass create insulation that can rival industrial materials. It is the same principle used in double-glazed windows. Trapped air between the layers is one of the best insulators that exist. Marcus has turned discarded wood into a thermal system capable of keeping the heat inside when outside temperatures drop below freezing.
The cold intensifies. Nighttime temperatures now drop below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Marcus walks to his pickup. And with great effort, unloads a small wood-burning stove he had bought secondhand before leaving Washington. He installs it in the corner of the kitchen area on a base of flat stones. He connects the stovepipe he found at the dock and runs it through the wall. Sealing the gap with clay. He lights the first fire. The smoke draws perfectly up the chimney. Heat begins to fill the small space. A dry, penetrating warmth he hasn't felt in weeks. The smell of burning wood replaces the damp scent of moss and earth. He takes off his heavy jacket, for the first time not needing it indoors. As his final act of construction, he builds a single, simple chair from leftover pallet wood. He places it in the middle of the room. He sits down in the warmth of the fire in the house he built. For the first time in a long time, A look of peace settles on his face. This is more than just a shelter. It is a start. He now has a place to live until he can afford something better. Now it is time to rebuild his life, find a new job in the area, and maybe, down the road, expand the cabin with better materials and more rooms.
Marcus Delaney faced a system that failed him and responded with a system of his own. He used logic, engineering, and the waste of that very system to build his independence.
His cabin is not just a shelter. It is a statement. The proof that ingenuity is the ultimate survival weapon.
But the story does not have to end here. We have news that Marcus, over time, managed to thrive in the area and make an incredible upgrade to this cabin. If you want us to go back to Haines to see how this project evolved, head to the community tab on our channel and vote in the poll. If we get enough votes, we will travel back to see Marcus's spectacular new cabin in this new place. When everything else fails, you build.
Don't miss our previous episode. After a plane crash in the Arctic, a stranded scientist survives 11 days by building a snow shelter inspired by wolves, hunting for food, and desperately trying to signal for rescue. Press the center card to watch it.